Former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan faces 23 counts of federal corruption charges. 22 of those stem from Madigan looking to possibly get favorable treatment for his associates while helping out ComEd. One of the other charges is a similar charge, but it deals with AT&T Illinois instead. New information out. Prosecutors say that Madigan told one of his confidants, Michael McLean, that benefactors of an alleged scheme made out like bandits. So we'll take a look at that some more, but on the Senate side of things, you've got Senate President Don Harmon, who yesterday in the swearing-in ceremony, he encouraged senators who are not doing things properly, well, quite frankly, that they should not be in office anymore. And there was one individual in office, State Senator Emil Jones III, who faces federal bribery charges. But here's State Senate President Don Harmon talking about how bad actors need to get out.
Working families and working folks. What is best for them? What is best for the millions of working families across our state? What is best for the nearly 13 million people who collectively call Illinois home? Be guided by that truth, whether it's politically convenient or not. If your motivations are elsewhere, the Illinois Senate is not for you. I was at a Supreme Court installation not too long ago for Justice Rochford, and her father, James Rochford, was quoted. He was the superintendent of the Chicago Police Department in 1976. That year, he welcomed a new class of patrol officers with a stern warning that seems appropriate to revisit today. If you lack integrity, get out. Get out now, because you will be found out. To be sorry is too late. If you remember the esteem in which you are held by your family and friends, many of whom are in this hall, you will save them the eventual shame and heartbreak. We've all unfortunately witnessed the sweeping tarnish that comes when even one elected official strays. If you aren't here to do what's right for the people of Illinois, I would suggest you take Mr. Rochford's advice.
And that advice was to get out if you are a bad actor. So that was Senate President Don Harmon. The former Illinois House Minority Leader, Jim Durkin, he was asked the other day on his last day in office about Democrats and how he's talked about them being corrupt. But he also said that they need to work with Democrats. Well, I asked him, how do you square that up? I mean, Madigan's getting ready to go to trial next year. His confidants and members of, the ComEd utility are facing trial here, and you've got House Minority Leader Jim Durkin telling me that he's hopeful that some changes come about at the Illinois State House.
Well, they can do some more, and I would say that they have done nothing, and we've been very clear on ethics reform in this building. So I would hope that it seems like it didn't even end up in anybody's mind last November, which is amazing. You've got some 12 or so former Democrats, House and Senate members. They're sitting over at federal court or federal prison. And you got Madigan, who was squeezing public utilities. It finally was, U.S. attorneys did their job, but no one paid attention to it. It just, people got lost on it. So I would say that my recommendation is to revisit issues that we that we've neglected. We have to give more strength to the Inspector General. I would say that more transparency on our statement of economic interest. There's a lot of things that we've offered up that were just completely discarded over the last few years. So I would hope that when these cases go to trial, you're going to have something. I think the McLean and Company are going to trial this spring, and we'll find out more about that. But if that isn't enough inspiration to change the way in which we conduct business, I don't know what it will take. But right now, it seems like it's been discarded and it's business as usual. Do more, do better, stop these conflicts of interest, give our Inspector General the tools to really do his job well. Because this is not the first, it's not going to be the last indictments coming out of this building. I think all of us know that. It may not be related to this Madigan or the red light cameras, but the thing is, it's going to continue. Unfortunately, that's the nature of this building. And I just hope that the Speaker and the President realize that we need to do more.
Well, we'll see if they do more on ethics at the State House, but I wanted to also delve into the latest filing that's from the prosecutors in that sweeping case of trying to get favorable legislation for ComEd in exchange for do-nothing or little-to-do-nothing jobs for Madigan Associates. And if you follow us, of course, with the Center Square, you can see the document that was filed. And if you open that up, it's 126 pages. On page 107, it goes into what they say are wire intercepts, and it confirms that both Michael McLean and Madigan understood that individuals employed by ComEd at Madigan's request did little to no work. You go down, and McLean noted that one individual was driving an agreement and made $150,000, and Madigan, he went on to say, well, if you remember, Madigan goes on, here we are, where is that? Madigan said, they made out like bandits. Well, if you remember, Madigan interjected, some of these guys have made out like bandits. So that's what the federal prosecutors are saying. They have a wire transcript showing. This will obviously come out in the court hearings when they do go to courts come March 7th this year for the McLean case. But I asked Madigan about being caught on wiretaps back in, what was this, 2019 when I asked him. And this is what his response was back then, several years ago at the Illinois State House. And it's an interesting little moment here in the history of covering the State House with Mike Madigan there at the helm. He's no longer in power, but here's his response when I asked him, what's it like to be caught on wire recordings?
A position that was released, that was published, and also the questions about the whole Gonzalez case, but you also had a moment caught on some kind of surreptitious recording. Can you respond to those?
It's a tough world we live in.
It's a tough world we live in, Madigan says. Well, it is a tough world, especially if you're facing 23 federal corruption charges to which Madigan's pleaded not guilty. His trial is not until April 1st of 2024, but McLean and 3 other former ComEd officials who pleaded not guilty in that nearly decade-long bribery scheme, they start their jury selection on March 7th. We'll do what we can to update you on the proceedings of that as well. That's the Illinois State House right there. Madigan was leading the helm at the House for, close to 40 years. Pretty incredible stuff. It's now 8 o'clock.
From the Fly